friend, welcome. If we haven't met yet, I'm Jen. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller, which means I go to thrift stores, I buy used clothes, I list them on eBay and Poshmark, and hopefully sell them for a profit. Today it's Tuesday, right? Tuesday, August 19th. These are the items that sold in the last 24 hours. It has been a minute since I have hit my goal, my daily goal, and I did that yesterday and only on eBay. I only sold items on eBay, so I'm very thrilled. I sold 5 items. Yes, you may have a popsicle. Okay. All right, the first is this vintage dress. Maxi length. I swear I wore a dress like this in high school. Probably for more than one thing. So, you know, like late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. Rivers. Make it yours, made in the USA, has a junior size on it. This has kind of an iridescent-y kind of look to it. I could not find any good comps for this, anything with this specific brand, and I looked a couple different ways. There were no solds in this brand. So I looked with an apostrophe, without an apostrophe. Anyway, I listed it for $30, and then I sent out a 20% off offer, and that was accepted. So with shipping, they paid $31.25. Yes, very excited about popsicles and ice cream. I just restocked, so there's new things in there. Okay, anyway, this sold in 2 months. I bought it at the bins, the Goodwill outlet where you pay by the pound. My average cost of goods at the bins is $2 per item. There are some exceptions, which we'll talk about that in a minute. My profit is $18.59, so I am thrilled with that. That's a great profit for something, a vintage item I found in the bins. I wrap everything in tissue paper. I add a little thank you sticker, and I put it in this. These are 13 by 10 poly mailers. The ones I currently have are from eBay, and I buy them using my eBay, what's the word? I can never get it on the first try. Shipping supply coupon that I get for having a store. And I will buy those or boxes. Actually, I have one loose right here. This is 8 by 6 by 4. Let's see. If you have a store, you'll have till the end of September to use your coupon. So you might want to do that. I always try to do it at the beginning. The coupons are quarterly, so I always try to do it at the beginning of the quarter. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. This is a men's button-up. Men's? Yes. If the buttons are on the right, it's men's. If the buttons are on the left, it's women's. Left ladies. That's how I used to remember it as men are always right, kind of in a facetious way, you know? But someone a long time ago was like, no, left is ladies. And I like that a lot better. So this is just a 100% linen button up. The brand is Tasso Elba. And it actually has a decent-ish sell-through rate, but I will tell you that every Tasso Elba 100% linen item that I have listed has sold. So that's good. I find that, one, I like to sell linen just in general. I think that, especially, I changed it this spring and only started really looking for like 100% linen versus more linen blends. My air conditioner just kicked on. Sorry about that. I bumped it down a few minutes ago trying to get it to hold off, but it's hot out. And it's not even as hot as it has been. Okay, anyway, I got distracted. I was, prior to this past spring, like anything that was even like a linen blend, I would buy to resell. I have kind of changed that. Unless it's one of my like regular brands that I buy, I am not going to buy it unless it's 100% linen. So things like Tasso Paso Elba, or I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head what else right now. But I find that in general, it sells for me pretty consistently. Men's 100% linen is even better. I'm not sure why, but it does seem to sell fairly quickly. This only took 5 weeks to sell. The average sale price is $14.23 with a 22% sell-through rate. So better sell-through rate, not super great, right? This one did sell for $15.16. So I'm not paying a lot of money for these, right? With shipping, they paid $21.67. I bought it, I think at the bins. It was one of those things that kind of appeared, and I'm not positive where I got it, but I'm pretty sure it came from the bins with, again, an average cost of $2. So it makes my profit $11.01. I'm fine with that. I don't, what happens if you're not fine with it? Do you unsell it? I'm not really sure. Also linen, but completely different, is this linen apron. Super cute. It's got a little ruffle. It has I kiss better than I cook embroidery. It is missing a button to connect it here. The brand is Natural Life, and I hear that brand talked about a little bit in like dresses. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm not really sure, but I found this at the bins. This definitely is, a lighter weight, smaller item, and so when I find lighter weight, smaller items, I will say my cost is $1. It's just for my own personal use, really, so it doesn't really matter. But average cost of goods of $1. Mine was the only one that sold when I looked up Natural Life linen apron. There were mine had sold. Hold on, I'll get there. And there were 11 listed. So 1 divided by 12 is 8%, which is, not high. But thankfully mine sold. Not really sure why. Maybe mine was lower listed. I did list mine a little bit lower than other ones that were listed because of the missing button. But they paid $11.96 plus shipping. Their total was $17.73. I've had this listed for 3 months, which is great considering, the very low sell-through rate. Like I said, my cost of goods is $1, so my profit is $9.14. That is great too. All right. I was gonna tell you all my numbers at the beginning, but I guess we can talk about it at the end. This sold very fast in 3 weeks, and this is a jersey knit midi length tank dress. Okay, I just got distracted. I work in my garage, if you don't know that. Sometimes garage means critters, and like giant spider just landed on the shelf next to me. The thing is huge. I mean, I live in Indiana. There's only like 2 poisonous kinds of spiders, so I'm not scared of them, but sometimes they give me the ick. Okay, anyway, this is pockets, which is always a bonus. I was just talking to someone about it. Oh, my cousin. One of my cousins is having a baby, and there was a baby shower over the weekend, and so I got to see most of my other cousins, and she was like, I had to buy a dress because it was an outdoor baby shower. It was like 90 degrees and 100% humidity or something ridiculous like that. She was like, I had to buy a dress, and the only problem is there's no pockets. I was like, yes, that's so valid. A dress with pockets is super important. This is Soft Surroundings, and I found this really interesting. So a soft surroundings, did I do maxi, midi? The length, I don't remember if I put the length in the search or not, but I did tank dress. I'm uncertain if this is supposed to be a maxi length or midi length because it's a petite and I am on the taller side. So no one's ever called me petite. Anyway, petite doesn't necessarily have to do with weight or anything. It's more stature, like legs being a little shorter, arms kind of being a little shorter. I know it will affect arm length in like shirts and tops and things. This is a tank, so there's not really anything to there, but it would probably affect length. So anyway, soft surroundings, tank dress. Whether I wrote maxi or midi in the search, I don't remember, but the average sale price is $22.45 with a 21% sell-through rate. I added petite to the listing because I feel like I've been talking about this a lot lately. It went to 28%, so it added like 7%. I don't know if that's huge, but that definitely increases the overall sell-through rate, right? Personally, I think I sell a lot of petite, tall, long. Just those specialty sizes and even plus sizes, I think sell better. All right. I had mine listed for $29.95. I have a 15% off coupon on my store almost all the time, and they used that. And so their total with shipping was $32.06. It took 3 weeks to sell. Like I said, I bought it at my new favorite thrift store for $1.69. I think that was an average cost of goods because I wasn't really sure what they charged for each item that day. Sometimes they'll have a bag sale, but I'm fairly confident it was not a bag sale. I do promote all of my items on eBay. I don't promote anywhere else on Poshmark, or I do sell on Depop-ish sometimes. Occasionally a sale will come through. Anyway, on eBay, I promote usually between 3 and 5%. I think I'm at 3% right now. I usually like play with it, but I did it before I left on my vacation at the beginning of August, and so I don't remember what I put it at. But I paid $1.21 extra in fees. So after fees, shipping, and my cost of goods, my profit is $18.76, which is lovely. Great return on investment. All right. These are a pair of just like sleep pants, like leggings. They're very soft. They are the brand, sorry, just, finding things. Maybe I need to run a lint roller over them. These are the brand Eddie Bauer, and they are new with tax. And so they're actually Eddie Bauer sleepwear. It actually says that they're sleepwear. And my mom gave me these, and I just talked about this yesterday as I was shipping because I had gotten a couple of free things that sold yesterday, one from my mom, and this also came from my mom. So I'm not gonna repeat that conversation, but it's definitely nice to have people to support in whatever it is that you're doing. But for me, that's reselling. So Eddie Bauer sleepwear leggings, the only ones that were sold were mine, and it was a less than 1% sell-through rate total, which is not ideal, but hey, mine sold, so that's great. Mine sold for $11.96, and again, maybe it's because mine were the lowest. Maybe it had to do with my pictures. I doubt that. My pictures aren't always that great. They're usually mid. Maybe it had to do with the information in the listing. Sometimes I'm really consistent with filling out all the like item specifics. Sometimes I'm not. Just kind of depends. And anyway, these took 2.5 months to sell. They sold for $11.96. With shipping, they paid $18.98. I have zero cost of goods, so after fees and shipping, my profit is $9.90. Thanks to my mom. So thanks, Mom. She does watch my videos, so you can say hi, Joy. That's her name in the comments if you want. All right, so question of the day. My little friend earlier here prompted, are you pro or against or neutral spider? I know sometimes people have very strong feelings about bugs in general, spiders particular. I know there are very real fears around spiders, and I totally respect that. There's some really scary ones out there, especially like in Australia. Holy smokes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not like a spider expert anyway. I'm pretty neutral. Like, I don't want them in my house. In the garage, I don't mind as much, other than when like a giant one, I've had them like as I was doing videos, like be in my face, freak me out before. But I think I'm pretty neutral spider. I'm kind of a catch and release if we find one in the house. Although if I don't have time for that, I'll kill them. I don't know. They're good for the environment or whatever. All right, let me know in the comments. Are you pro, con? Not con, pro, against, neutral, spider. Bonus points if you leave a spider emoji, but just remember, bonus points don't matter. Okay, so my gross sales amount was $121.69. $67.40 is my profit for the day. My goal is $2,000 a month, which is about $67 a day. And if you know my family, 67 is like a hilarious number right now. It's a TikTok thing, I guess, like 6, 7, I don't know. Everyone's in on it. My husband is so over it, and it's really fun. We're having a lot of fun with 6, 7, and 67 in our house. Anyway, regardless, $67. Made my goal. Finally, that's exciting. I listed 20 items last night. Yesterday in my video, I talked a little bit about my goal for the day, and I was debating on whether I should list 30 items or 15 and 15 yesterday and today. What I landed on doing was 20 yesterday, and I'll do 10 today, and I'm gonna take more pictures today and tomorrow to continue on at 10 a day for at least the next 2 weeks until I start school, which will be right after Labor Day. So I've been super inconsistent. If you are new here, you might not know that. If you're not, you probably know. I've been super inconsistent over the summer. We've just traveled a lot. When I'm home, I try to be very consistent, but when I'm not home, I try to be really present where I am. So this past trip that we took in the first 11 days of August, I disconnected from everything, and it was really, really wonderful. It was a nice break, a really good, I talked at length about our trip already, but it was just good for my brain to like reset and just have a break from all the things. I didn't have to think about laundry, I didn't have to think about meal planning, I didn't have to think about eBay or YouTube or school or any of the things that I think about on a regular basis. So it was really nice to just be present on our trip. But getting back into that consistent, the consistency of shipping, of listing, of taking photos, that has been tough. We've been back for a little over a week now, and I still have not got back into the routine of things. And I think once I start school, once we have a couple weeks of transition, I think that will, it will kind of even out. We'll get back into our regular kind of school year routine and rhythm, and I think that will help a lot. But that doesn't mean I can stop being consistent now. So the goal is to get 10 new items listed today and tomorrow and the next day and the next. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate hanging out with you. I'll see you soon.